you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Would you please join me for a moment of silence and a moment of prayer? Almighty God, giver and sustainer of life, we come together tonight with hearts full of gratitude and celebration as we recognize your life-sustaining power and grace. Thank you for the 109 lives you restored through the service and the dedication of the public safety personnel here and those who serve in Wake County. Thank you for both gifting and calling those dispatchers, police officers, sheriff's deputies, firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs to this work. We celebrate their passion and the fruits of their labors this evening. We celebrate the days of laughter and joy, of tears and triumphs that you have given to the families and the survivors of sudden cardiac arrest this year. And we celebrate the opportunities that we each have to love and serve our neighbors today and tomorrow and the next. We thank you, Creator God. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Present. Order.
Please be seated. Welcome to Code Celebrate 2023. The theme for this year's event is Celebration of Success and Survival. This evening's program is dedicated to the most precious gift of all, life. For survivors, this means more time with loved ones. For public safety responders, it's validation that our fight to make a difference is worth the sacrifices we all endure. We are all here today as we have all been affected by life from different perspectives, but still affected. Whether you're a survivor, a family member, or a responder, We would love to hear your stories. You'll be given the opportunity to come up towards the end of this program to share your stories. So if you're willing, prepare yourself to come up. It's a little hot up here, but other than that, it's not that bad. I would like to introduce our first distinguished speaker to the podium. Please give a round of applause for Wake County Board of Commissioners Chair, Shanika Thomas.
Thank you so much, Brian. Welcome, everyone, and happy National EMS Week. My name is Shanika Thomas, and I'm the chair of the Wake County Board of Commissioners. Now, I know that we'll be recognizing them a little later this evening, but can we go ahead and give it up for the Wake EMS team? As we celebrate EMS Week here in Wake County, know that we are incredibly proud of the hard work our EMTs and paramedics do every single day. Plus, we know that they're some of the very best in the world. And as they say, you don't have to take my word for it. I'm honored to announce that last year, Wake County EMS had 109 cardiac arrest saves. That's really amazing, y'all. That's a number that distinguishes our EMS team as one of the top teams in the whole country. But more importantly, that's 109 dads, sisters, grandmothers, and best friends who get to blow out birthday candles this year. That's 109 important people who get to celebrate loved ones' graduations this month and will celebrate weddings, promotions, and life's little joys for years to come. And no number can measure that impact. Day in and day out, the Wake County EMS is able to make these important saves because of their hard work, their intensive training, and thoughtful collaboration with world-class hospitals. So I'm not encouraging anyone to run out and have a heart attack or anything, but if you do, please know that Wake County is the best place to be. And thank goodness, since apparently the Canes go into quadruple overtime these days. But our pro hockey team is just one of the hundreds of amazing amenities here in Wake County. We're growing because the word is out that this is an exceptional place to live, work, learn, and play. We've got a booming technology industry, award-winning schools, and pristine parks. Wake County is nearly 1.2 million people strong, y'all, and we're still growing by about 56 people every day. As we welcome more people to our thriving community, public safety is one of the fastest growing responsibilities. All of our neighbors, new and old, deserve the very best care possible. And that's why the Board of Commissioners takes our public safety goals seriously. That's why we invest in recruiting and retaining the most talented frontline team possible. One of this year's public safety goals is providing the best public safety and emergency management services to meet the community's current and future needs. That includes studying how to make our 911 call process even better, because having more people means a lot more calls for help. So thank you to those who answered the call for help. We can't get together every day to cheer you on, but know that our gratitude and our pride extend far beyond EMS Week. And also thank you to those who've witnessed firsthand what amazing work Wake EMS does. Thank you in advance, families, for your vulnerability in sharing your stories tonight. We are so happy to have you with us here tonight. And next I will introduce County Manager David Ellis.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you tonight, and I really appreciate the invitation from my colleagues at EMS. But first, I want to speak to the survivors. Each one of you is an example of strength and resilience. You faced a life-threatening event head-on, and from that moment, I have no doubt you embarked on a life-changing journey. You overcame incredible odds and came out stronger on the other side. In this room, you are surrounded by others with similar stories, and hopefully we'll get to hear some of them. It's a community you didn't ask to join, but I hope you embrace being a part of it. Please know that your story can inspire others, even if it's just getting one person to learn CPR. I hope to hear again, as I mentioned, I hope to hear from you, these stories from you later. To the first responders, Like Chair Thomas said, here in Wake County, we have a strong focus on public safety. And we have two board members in here. We have Commissioner Adamson and Chair Thomas here, and they both are tremendous advocates for public safety. And while we can't prevent all emergencies from happening, it's our job to respond to them when they do. You are the people that make it possible for us to follow through on that responsibility. You are the true heroes in our community, and your commitment, dedication, and quick thinking save lives every day. I know you make sacrifices, you work long days and nights, and you miss time with your family and your friends. But please know it does not go unnoticed. The survivors in this room know how important you are, and so do we. And that's why this board continues to make a significant investment in our public safety agencies and staff. In case you missed it, I presented the county's proposed FY24 budget to the board earlier this month, and we wrapped up our final public hearing this week. For Wake EMS, the proposed budget increases staffing, purchases new ambulances to help our team respond to the skyrocketing number of calls. It also, through the EMS National Facilities Plan, will invest $61 million over the next 7 years to upgrade and replace EMS stations and build new ones to ensure we can respond quickly to calls in Wake County. We also remain committed to attracting and retaining the best and the brightest, and that is you, in the field, so we can continue providing excellent care for our residents. In 2022, we increased the salaries for EMS employees, making Wake County EMS a leader in pay in North Carolina. We created a new advanced emergency medical technician position as an additional opportunity for career growth. We've added wellness days to the benefits employees receive so you can take care of your mental health. And we're also in the process of training our EMS therapy dogs to provide comfort to responders, as well as stressed out county managers. I look forward to welcoming them to the team when they officially arrive on the job. All of this to say is, you are committed to the health and safety of our residents. And this board and myself, we are committed to investing in you. I want to wrap up by saying thank you to each and every one of you. As public safety professionals, you serve an important role in this community. It's your dedicated and compassionate service that makes everyone feel safe, including many of the people in this room tonight. I want to thank you all again. I look forward to continuing working with you, and thank you for all that you do for the residents and businesses in Wake County. Thank you. I'd like to now introduce EMS Operating Chief, Officer Don Gardner.
Good evening. It's great to see everyone here tonight. After a 3-year hiatus, we're back. I'm very excited that we're able to get together again. It's one step of being normal coming out of COVID. First, I'd like to thank Chair Thomas and Manager Ellis for being here and for their comments. Wake County EMS is lucky to have such a strong support from county leadership, and we appreciate the continued investments that they're making in our system and in our people. I'd also like to thank the survivors for joining us tonight. I am grateful for your presence and the impact you've had on those around you. Your determination is an inspiration to all of us. We also come together tonight to celebrate our emergency responders and our healthcare heroes. When it comes to emergencies, partnerships are critical. Restoring the pulse in someone who has lost it is by all accounts an uphill battle. It cannot be achieved without unmotivated responders or with mediocre performance. Our local responders have met the challenge of restoring the pulse and with it life. And it was done through aggressive training and the outstanding performance of many. Congratulations and thank you to our EMS providers, our area fire departments, our emergency communication staff, and our local hospitals. The partnership between these agencies is what made it possible to achieve 109 saves in 2022. This teamwork didn't happen by accident, and it certainly didn't happen overnight. It began decades ago when people who recognized the potential for great things that could be achieved if we aim our resources together in one direction. And quite simply, that's what's in the best interest of the patient. Today, we have hundreds of men and women from many different services that work in concert every day to achieve the remarkable accomplishments that we are here tonight to celebrate through their selfless service. And they do so in extremely challenging conditions. In addition to our rapidly growing population, we dealt with a global pandemic, and we are now feeling our way around the post-COVID world. Our healthcare system is seeing a surge in post-COVID complications and a backlog of postponed treatments and the increase for the demand of our resources. The pandemic took a toll on people's mental health, leading to a greater need for mental health services and psychiatric care. Our healthcare workers and emergency responders are experiencing burnout. We've seen a great migration of individuals outside or out of the healthcare industry. They're working around the clock in difficult and taxing situations. But through continued collaboration, we are working to address those challenges, many of which Manager Ellis mentioned earlier. We're improving patient outcomes and helping our responders and healthcare workers navigate this new normal. To the survivors who are here tonight, I need your help. I mentioned the difficult and taxing conditions our responders face every day. Those calls take a little bit from us. They pull a little bit of compassion out of our bucket. Just as the medications and the electrical therapy that we use to restore your heart, your presence, and your things go to restore our hearts and add to our buckets. Now, I know some of you may be reluctant to come up and speak. You may not know what to say. You may not be the best public speaker, and you may be scared, quite frankly. I ask you to put all of that aside. Just come up and say two simple words. Thank you. You have no idea how restorative those two simple words are to the responders in the room tonight. So again, I thank everyone who played a role in our healthcare system over the past year. It's truly been a team effort, and this team I am proud to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Thomas, Manager Ellis. As a provider, it's always great to work at an agency with a vision to continually improve service to our community during challenging times. And that's certainly what we have faced over the past couple of years. All of this would not be possible without the support of our elected officials who prioritize and invest in our public safety departments. This is just one of the many reasons why Wake is great and why I chose to move my family here 17 years ago and where I will retire. You all know at times it is difficult to get medical professionals to agree on anything. This is part of the reason why we can't eat lunch, because it takes us 2 hours to figure out what we're going to eat. We all have our independent thoughts on treatments, protocols, and policies, but one thing we all know is that CPR saves lives. Studies show that bystander CPR dramatically increases the survivability rate. It is certainly possible that some of you are here today because a bystander took the time to take a course and perform CPR on you when you had your cardiac arrest. Wake County EMS is dedicated to continue to be one of the best in the nation at cardiac arrest resuscitation. We know the best chance at survival includes bystander CPR, public access AEDs, top-notch care from our first responder partners, top-notch care from our EMS departments, as well as care from our partner hospitals. So far this year, through community outreach education, Wake County EMS has educated and empowered over 1,000 citizens to perform hands-only CPR, just in case it's needed. This is 1,000 more people that can perform this life-saving skill that will help save lives and make this event bigger next year. In conjunction with the continued CPR courses, Wake County is Pulse Point connected. Pulse Point is a free app that you can download on both platforms that will notify you if you are near someone suffering a cardiac arrest. We know, again, with certainty that the bystander CPR and early access AEDs will dramatically increase survivability rate, and we encourage everyone to learn how to do CPR. Although it may seem very tasking, it's actually a simple task. And when we demonstrate how simple it actually is, I would hope that all of you who don't know how to perform this will sign up and learn how to perform it. Because you never know when it's going to be you to have to save one of your loved ones. If you do already know CPR, we encourage you to download and utilize the Pulse Point app. Most of our responders have this and utilize it, but we need the citizens to intervene in times of need, because the first 5 minutes of these incidents often dictate what's going to happen at the end of it's going to dictate the outcome at the end of this incident. We are now going to show you a quick demonstration on how to do CPR, as well as watch a video on Pulse Point, and then give you the opportunity to sign up to learn CPR at the end of this ceremony.
All of a sudden, 6-week-old Noah's not breathing. He's not breathing.
Location of your emergency.
131 South Sherman.
I remember that call coming out. Station 1's out of the area. It's going to be at least 8 to 10 minutes before we get a resource there.
I was working in my shop. My cell phone made a noise that I hadn't really heard before.
Things were dire.
We have an infant who's not breathing.
The Pulse Point app resides as a part of your smartphone. It sends an alert that there's a cardiac arrest in your nearby area. Do you want to respond? When the need arises, that's your chance to truly be a hero and save somebody's life.
Pulled the phone out of my pocket and looked, and it said CPR needed, and it was a block and a half away.
I saw my child there limp and blue.
Are they awake at all?
No.
I remember screaming, "Help me," somehow, and I was helpless.
It's today the last day that he'll be alive.
I just saw him come running in. He got there somehow. He found out about it. I didn't know how at that point.
And I picked him up and started doing some nose and mouth breathing for him. You could see the look in his eyes. He was like, help me, help me. Just wanted him to start breathing. The ambulance got there. And as soon as I handed him off to the paramedic, the baby started crying. And we both looked at each other and went, oh, that's a good sign.
The Pulse Point app really allows us to leverage the benefit of the people in the community that want to be a part of the solution. He was the closest resource.
Everybody should look up to Jeff. He's a hero, he's a miracle. If he didn't have that app, no one might not be here.
Noah's 3 years old. He's all that's good, and none that isn't. The phone saved my son's life.
He's overcome so much in his little life, and he's fought to be here. We call him the little warrior.
I would like to welcome to the stage for our CPR demonstration internal paramedic program students Zach Marvel, Jean Bellamy, Kendall Teasley, and Lauren Marbury. We're going to briefly go through how simple CPR actually is. I'm going to give them the directions. We are going to kind of go to the beat of Staying Alive. How ironic. Not sure that the Bee Gees knew in the 80s when they made that they'll be part of cardiac resuscitation moving forward, but here we are. And then we will do 2 minutes of CPR, and we will talk about CPR saving lives after the demonstration. To perform CPR, we need to be on a hard, firm surface. And as you see, they are 90 degrees laying, kneel down 90 degrees to the patient. They're going to take the heel of one hand and place it in the middle of the upper chest. They're going to lean forward, lock their elbows, and they're going to push hard and fast. Hard and fast at a rate of 100 to 120 beats per minute. And again, if we can mimic, and I want everybody to sing Staying Alive. This will get them through the 2 minutes. So on the count of 3, let's all sing Staying Alive as they do their compressions. 1, 2, 3. Everybody. I got the left side over here singing, the right side's not. Let's everybody, let's go. Staying alive. There, the chorus is nice. So we joke about this. In all reality, this simple task saves lives. What they are doing now will help bridge the gap until the first responders arrive. And we know with certainty that if some bystander does CPR prior to arrival, it triples the survivability rate threefold. So again, I encourage everyone, if you don't know CPR, let's sign up for a course and learn it. You guys can stop. We were going to work them into a heart attack. I lied, it is very hot up here. So yes, we need everybody to learn CPR, we need everybody to download PulsePoint, and we need everybody to take the initiative to want to help. Chief Garner, I think you a doctor. He'll take the pay raise. Chief Garner mentioned our first responders and our hospital staff. When we talk about the EMS system, it is not just emergency medical services that drive and ride the ambulances and do the ambulance work. It is the entire system of emergency communicators, our police and fire department brothers and sisters, obviously the EMS department in general, and our hospitals. So together, we do a really good job at resuscitation, but we can be better. And I'm looking forward for the next 3 or 4 years where this 109 is up into 160, 170, because I know that we can get there with your help. I would like to welcome Wake County Deputy Medical Director, Dr. Jeff Williams, to the podium.
Good evening. Those of you that know me will be glad to hear that I can cut down on my remarks because Brian already said all the important stuff. It is 100% true, the importance of bystander CPR, and we are going to reiterate just a little bit of that. Again, my name is Jeff Williams. I'm Deputy Medical Director for Wake County EMS. I'm very happy to be here, as is our Associate Medical Director, Andrew Godfrey. I also bring greetings from our EMS System Medical Director, Dr. Jose Cabanas. I have the honor and pleasure of kind of being the transition here to our recognition portion of the evening. In a few minutes, I'm going to read a letter from a family in our community that had a cardiac arrest in their home, and the patient survived. And the family member wrote us a letter that I'm going to read. And as Don said, it's just sort of an example of how to say thanks to all these men and women who have worked so hard to save lives in our community. We'll also do some responder recognition and have a performance. But first, I just want to take a few minutes to reflect on some of the comments that have been made previously. and reiterate a little bit of Brian's point as well. There are so many people that it takes to cause a cardiac arrest survival, right? To cause someone to survive from cardiac arrest. And I say cause because cardiac arrest survival does not happen by accident. This is really my favorite event of the year that we do in the EMS system and in the county that I'm involved in, at least, because it's really the only time that we see all these people together in the same room. We have families and lay rescuers, we have hospital folks, we have our telecommunicators, and certainly our EMS and first responders. The idea of bystander CPR is probably better termed resident rescuer. Sometimes you'll see it called resident rescuer CPR or lay responder CPR, because those of you in the audience who've done this on your loved ones or on your friends, you know you're not standing by, right? You're working. You're doing a lot of effort, and it's 100% true that your loved one is alive because of you. Brian is not wrong. It's 3 or 4 times more likely that you'll survive if you get bystander CPR. And so please, again, if you hear no other call to action tonight, it's to promote the idea of lay rescuer CPR, lay responder CPR. Download Pulse Point, take a class, encourage your friends to take a class. It's been fortunate and unfortunate to sort of see a rise this past year with the demand for lay rescuer classes. We all maybe watched on TV when Damar Hamlin had his very public cardiac arrest. There are other recent high-profile cardiac arrests that are kind of, again, very unfortunate for those that suffered the arrest, but quite frankly, very fortunate for other people in the nation that had subsequent cardiac arrest that probably got bystander CPR because of the emphasis put on lay rescue or response because of these more high-profile events. And all of us on the cardiac arrest team really, want to capitalize on that momentum and know that what you do as lay rescuers certainly does matter very, very much. To transition a little bit, the lay rescuers in our community who have done this know, and for those of you who haven't had to do it, you should know that you're never going to be alone when you're helping a loved one in cardiac arrest. That sort of second link in the chain of survival is our 911 telecommunicators. They astutely recognize cardiac arrest. They provide CPR instruction over the phone. They coach you. They're with you 100% of the way. They count with you if anybody's ever listened to any of those 911 calls. They provide those dispatcher-assisted CPR instructions, which in addition to lay rescuer CPR, really does save lives, even, again, another 1 or 2 fold versus folks who unfortunately don't get that help. Then what happens next, obviously, is our first responder colleagues, our law enforcement colleagues with AEDs in their cars, who happen to be nearby and are not even necessarily assigned to the call, but know that they can help and know that they want to help. And our first responders who are dispatched, who are often there first, they are responsible, quite frankly, mostly responsible for saving the most savable, the ones who all they need is a shock to their heart to get that pulse back. EMS arrives and certainly helps direct and resuscitate the more difficult ones to resuscitate, and then we transport to the hospital, obviously, where our hospital colleagues take the baton. As Brian mentioned, obviously, we're very, very fortunate in Wake County to have 3 outstanding hospital systems that each have experts in their fields to care for these most critical cardiac arrest patients, to treat their disease processes, help them recover, and reach the finish line and discharge home to their loved ones. And certainly cardiac arrest, our cardiac arrest numbers reflect that. Chair Thomas mentioned, that we like to compete just a little bit compared to our public safety colleagues around the country. You can't improve what you don't measure. And when you measure things and when you have data to compare to your friends and neighbors, it makes you want to get better. Just recently, this week, we received our annual survivor report from CARES, which is the national organization that serves as a repository and sort of a comparative cardiac arrest data set. And this is consistent with recent history, but all of our cardiac arrest patients survive at rates higher than state and national averages. Our patients who are most likely to survive are those that have an arrest that's witnessed, they receive help from a lay rescuer, and then they're in a heart rhythm that can be shocked with a defibrillator. And so we sort of compare systems based on those most survivable patients. In Wake County, those patients survive cardiac arrest as of this year about 43% of the time. Whereas elsewhere in the state and nation, those percentages are about 10 points lower. So Chair Thomas isn't wrong. We're not hoping anybody has a cardiac arrest, but if you need help, this is a great place to be. Furthermore, and Chief Garner mentioned this to me earlier today, it's important to say we're really proud that our cardiac arrest survival rates did not change during COVID. We actually had a slight increase in survival and a slight increase in lay rescuer CPR during the COVID years. There are probably some statistical reasons for that. There were more people at home, more people who had witnessed arrest. But in other areas of the country where the same was true, the opposite occurred, right? We attribute this sort of really great success, fantastic result to the dedication and professionalism of our community of responders. Our standard high-quality care and high-quality protocols stayed the same during COVID, while we were also able to work to protect our responders who were obviously responding during that time in many different ways. I think perhaps more important than the numbers is what gets us those numbers, and several speakers alluded to this. We are a system of neighbors, of close friends in the public safety and healthcare colleague world. And that's not true everywhere. We can pick up the phone and have a conversation with our law enforcement colleagues, with our firefighters, with our telecommunicators, and certainly with our hospital partners to solve problems, to fix issues, and to progress care. We have a very progressive EMS system, and all of those members that have been mentioned are part of it. What we do here, from the support we receive from our county leadership, to the care that's started by you, our neighbors, to the world-class EMS, emergency medicine, and critical care practiced by our healthcare providers, it is rare. It is rare and exceptional, and something to be celebrated for sure. Without the unique and expert contributions of everybody in this room, and for quite frankly, those of our colleagues who are working tonight, right now, in the field and can't be here, our EMS system would not be successful as it is today, and we would not have as many cardiac arrest survivors in our community as we do year after year. So I know I speak on behalf of all of our survivors and all of our residents when I say thank you to everybody here who cares about your neighbor, who cares about your call to service, as well as the capable members of our system of care. One of those survivors, as I mentioned earlier, who benefited from this fantastic system of care that we have, is actually United States Congresswoman Deborah Ross's husband, Steve. Congresswoman Ross represents North Carolina's 2nd District here in Wake County, and she was very kind enough to write a letter to our EMS system regarding her husband's recent experience, and I've been asked to read that letter here tonight. The letter reads, Dear Director Colangelo, I write to express my sincere appreciation for Wake County Emergency Medical Services personnel in honor of EMS Week and Code Celebrate. The residents of Wake County are eternally thankful for your steadfast service to our community. Code Celebrate recognizes survivors of cardiac events and the personnel who cared for them, but this is just one of the many exemplary areas where emergency services personnel provide assistance. First responders play a critical role as frontline health professionals and were especially vital through the COVID-19 pandemic. Wake EMS staff put their personal health at risk to safeguard the well-being of our friends, families, and neighbors at a time when our healthcare system was coping with unprecedented challenges. Your tireless work has saved countless lives, and our entire community is immensely privileged to be in the capable hands of Wake County EMS personnel. I would also like to express my profound gratitude for the promptness, attention, and care of Wake County Emergency Services in responding to my husband Steve's heart event on Sunday, April 16th. Our family is forever indebted to your staff, not just for saving Steve's life, but for the quick and effective treatment that allowed him to make a remarkable recovery. There is no doubt in my mind that the dedication, professionalism, and expertise of your first responders is the reason why my husband is still with us today. On behalf of our entire community, thank you for your important work. Please do not hesitate to reach out if I can ever be of assistance. Very truly yours, Deborah K. Ross, Member of Congress. To conclude my remarks, I'll offer a reply to the generous letter, which is on behalf of the Wake County EMS system, including all of us in the room. It's lay rescuers, it's CPR instructors, 911 telecommunicators, fire and law enforcement, EMS, ER, hospital, nurses, techs, doctors, social workers, rehabilitation specialists, and friends. We thank you, Congresswoman Ross, for recognizing all our efforts, not only in the care of your husband, but also during the recent and ongoing challenges the healthcare system is facing. We all believe in the prompt, compassionate, clinically excellent care that we provide here in Wake County, and we look forward to helping our next patient in cardiac arrest.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. I would now like to invite District Chief from Wake County EMS, Brian Woodard, for a musical presentation. you, Brian. And just for full disclosure, I was going to sing. I offered my voice. Everybody refused, even my family. And as much as I hate to say it, they are right. I could do nothing of that sort. At this point, we have reached the responder recognition part of the program. So for all the responders, if you would head out to staging, which is out the back door to the right, we're going to follow you into this side of the stage. You're going to walk across the stage. We'll take a picture, and then we'll head down the stairs, and you can have our seat, and then we will listen to the survivor remarks. So we're going to take 2 or 3 minutes to allow them to get out there. We're going to prepare the stage, and we'll be back with you shortly. So our first agency to come across the stage will be Cary Emergency Communications Center. Emergency Communications Center. If you guys would pause for just a second so we can take a picture while you're up here on stage. Raleigh Police Department. Apex Fire Department. Durham Highway Fire Department. Fairview Fire Department. Fuquay Marina Fire Department. Garner Fire Department. Holly Springs Fire Department. Nightdale Fire Department. Raleigh Fire Department. Fire Department. Zebulon Fire Department. Wake County EMS. If you are willing and would like to grace us with your thoughts, we will be happy to hear from you. And as Chief Garner said, sometimes a simple thank you is enough. If you are a survivor, a family member of a survivor, or a responder that would wish to speak, please come toward the podium.
I didn't realize it was going to be emotional. My name's Jim Baker. On September 23rd, I coded while I was driving with my wife in the truck. She slammed the truck into park and called 911. We had another person with us also, my wife's best friend Barbara, who knows CPR. When they asked her to do CPR, she got out of the truck, started walking back towards the house, going, oh my. She couldn't do it. Garner Station 2, C team, C shift, saved my life. 4 rounds of CPR, and then they shot me back. They estimate I was dead for about 10 minutes. My wife said, no wonder I'm so dumb now. She would have been here tonight, but she's sick. Thank you to all the EMS, all the firefighters. Thank you very much. The first thing my wife asked me when I woke up 3 days later in ICU was, did you see our baby? My daughter. My daughter was murdered August 15th of 2020. She was shot and robbed in Bojangles parking lot on Jones Sausage Road. Raleigh RPD did a great job in catching the people that were responsible.
But to answer my wife's question, yes, I did. I did see her. And she was smiling and beautiful. And she was laughing. I don't know what she was laughing at, but it's probably, Dad, you can't come in yet. Thank you very much, all the police, EMS, and firefighters. Thank you for all you do.
It is warm up here. Hi, my name is Rodney Delegati. This is my 11-year-old son who's going to be taller than me in about a week. Crosby. September 21st, about 5:30 in the morning. I was out for a morning run with a group of guys. Didn't see it coming, never had it, never knew it was happening, but suffered cardiac arrest at the end of my run. Two of the gentlemen were with me. One was doing CPR. The other one held my, checked my pulse. And within, they say that I was 3 to 5 minutes, I was gone. But Cary Fire Department, station number 3, they were there in about 2 to 3 minutes from where I was. It shocked me back. And I woke up later that day at the hospital, but I can't say enough about our first responders, all those, it starts up here and goes out with all those folks that are there to help us every day. Fire departments, police officers, everyone that's out there, we're so grateful, so fortunate to be up here today because of what you guys have done for me. So fortunate to be next to my son and my wife who's back there, who's made it tough on her for a little bit, but I'm very grateful and thankful for all that you do. So, thank you.
Thank you to the both of you. Anybody else? Going once? So a lot of times what's often forgotten are the voices behind the microphones for us. And when we talk about public safety, we often forget the communications experts. They're the ones behind the microphone telling us what to do, where to go, the bossy sometimes. We love them nonetheless. So if we could, because I think that we didn't give them the applause that they needed as they came across the screen because they are often forgotten, can we have a huge round of applause for both Raleigh Wake Communications and Carrie, if you would come back to the stage once this is over, we forgot to snap a picture. And with that, this concludes the ceremony for this evening. And on behalf of the entire public safety community in Wake County EMS, we thank you. Drive home safe. Have a wonderful night.